everyone! Have you ever dreamed of winning a debate? Well, today is your day. We will give you some tips on what you need to do in presenting a case. So for our lesson objectives, at the end of the lesson, the students can first, identify the 4 methods of delivery. 2. Apply the steps to good delivery. 3. Recognize the different nonverbal communications and other considerations. And lastly, explain the essence of tournament debate delivery.
Hi guys, thank you for watching this video. But before we go on to our discussion, try to watch this video and try to answer these questions. First, what is the video all about? What is the main problem shown in the video? And lastly, what can you suggest or what is your suggestion to overcome this problem? So upon answering these questions, you will have an idea about what is philosophobia. And you can also reflect to yourself of how you're going to deal with these people or how you're going to help them. So now let us proceed to the content of this lesson. As cited by Freely A and Steinberg J, Aristotle pointed out that success in delivery is of the utmost importance to the effect of the speech. Meaning to say, a speech is primarily about the words that you speak, but performance is so much more. So here, I was assigned to present and discuss the methods of delivery and steps to good delivery. So now, Hurst M presented 4 basic methods of presenting a speech. So to make my discussion more interesting, how about while discussing we are going to play a game, or we are going to play a guessing game. Are you familiar with 4 picks, 1 word? Of course you do. So let's start!
Much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
So for our first method, what do you think is the answer? Yes, you got it right. The answer is impromptu. So when we say impromptu, it is a method of delivery that makes a little or no preparation for the presentation of ideas. Meaning, becoming skilled at impromptu speaking can give you the self-confidence you need to give a last-minute presentation. You can build your own reputation as a lion's leader when you learn to speak effectively under pressure. So to visually understand my statement, I'm gonna show you a video or an example of impromptu.
Contestant number 2, here's your question. Convince us to watch your favorite TV show. Convince us to watch your favorite TV show. Start now.
Judges, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Well, there was this one movie I watched before. It was just simply about a child. He doesn't know how to speak, doesn't even know how to write, and he doesn't know how to read.
So for our second method, what do you think is the answer? You got it again! The answer is extemporaneous. So it is a method that has a preparation or it is a prepared speech. So it allows speakers to make an eye contact with the audience because it is one of the best ways to connect with them and keep them involved in the speech. So here's a video showing extemporaneous method.
Time begins.
In the 5th grade, I took a trip to Fiji. There, while I was at Fiji, some of the people told me about a folktale they had about banana trees and monkeys. And it started with the monkeys trying to get the bananas from the banana trees. And so they would swing up onto the trees and they would repeatedly try to reach the bananas, but every time they would fail and fall back down.
We are now in the third method, so try to guess again. Did you get the answer? Well, the answer is memorize. It is a method of speaking where the manuscript is committed to memory and recited to the audience verbatim or word for word. So it can be helpful when the message needs to be exact and the speaker does not want to be confined by notes. So it enables the speaker to have an eye contact with the audience throughout the speech or argument. So here is a video showing this method, guys.
What is the fine line between same-sex relationship and same-sex marriage? Is it a division of gender or such? Perhaps a limitation of love or not? Well, each and every one of us has the right, I say, to love and to be loved. It doesn't matter what religion you have, what race, how wealthy or poor, young or old, even your gender should not hinder your feelings. Should. But longing to fit has always been what we want, at least unconsciously. Because we may say that we don't hate if others don't see that we are uniqueness and replicate it most of the time.
So now we are here for the last method. So what do you think is the answer? Correct! Our last method is manuscript. So when we say manuscript, the speaker reads his notes word for word to the audience. So in this present era, the manuscript style is very common. Because through this method, you can say the exact repetition or the original words to your audience. In some cases, this can be extremely important.
The same amount of carbon. The difference is that over time on Earth, the carbon has been trapped in the ground in the form of coal, oil, natural gas, whereas on Venus, most of the carbon is in the atmosphere. The difference is that on Earth, the average temperature is around 50 degrees, whereas on Venus, it is around 850 degrees. Not just because it's slightly closer to the sun. Mercury is the closest to the sun and is around 3 times cooler than Venus. This is vaguely relevant to our current strategy of, especially developing nations, of taking as much ground-based carbon and ejecting it into the atmosphere.
So those are the 4 basic methods presenting a speech. So let's have a recap. Can you please tell us again the 4 basic methods? Thank you. So our first method is impromptu, second extemporaneous, third the memorize, and lastly the manuscript. This time we are going to discuss the steps to good delivery. So what are these steps? So, presenting a clear and coherent message in an interesting way, at the same time having a strong conversational quality and motivation are essential and can help us to deliver a good speech or argument. Because having these qualities can convince our audience to believe on our side. So for our first step, we have speech outline. The speech outline is a detailed plan of exactly what we intend to say and how we intend to say it to a specific audience. Before you can begin writing your speech, you must first establish the main topic about which you plan to speak. Yes, because you need to brainstorm early and often. You can try a variety of techniques to get your mental juices flowing, from clustering to free writing. Even just talking through your ideas with another person as a sounding board is a great way to get ideas. So once you start to get an idea of your topic, do a little preliminary research. See what others may have written or said about your general topic. Reading their ideas may help give you some new ideas or direction of your own. Second is the speaker's note. It composed of 2 forms. First, it involves the debate situation itself. Second, involves briefs prepared in advance. So for the first form, it is about knowing and understanding your audience. It is one of the most important parts of developing an effective speech. So take into account the demographics of your audience, gender, age, industry, the event at which you are speaking, common interests, culture and ethnicity, and how much they already may or may not know about your speech technique. For the second form, it is about being mindful of gestures, colloquialism, idioms, or other ethnocentric expressions like slang, mannerism, etc. you might make during your speech. It's important to recognize what is accepted in one culture may be offensive in another. For the third step, it's about preparation. Make sure you find credible sources of information, whether they be from scholarly sources that have been peer-reviewed or irrefutable facts. So there are many places you could go to research. While the internet might seem like the easiest place to find information, you always want to double check to make sure those sources are accurate and credible. Take note also that rehearse your speech using the notes that you will bring to the podium. Be sure you can glance at the notes, get your information, and look with the audience, or sometimes it depends on your chosen method.
Hello everyone, we are now on the third part, which is the nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is the process of conveying a message without the use of words. It can include gestures, facial expression, tone, timing and posture, and where you stand as you communicate. The meaning that the audience perceives from our message comes not from our words alone, nor solely from our vocal expression or body language. They will generate the message from both our words and vocal expression or body language. For example, a simple verbal message such as hi can, with the addition of vocal expression and body language, be perceived in a lot of meaning. Watch this.
Joe, what's up? You look so snob today.
Hi.
My gosh, Joe? Joe, how are you?
Hi. So there you go. As you can see in the clips, I have presented two different scenes that uses the simple word hi. In the first clip, the hi can be perceived as don't talk to me, I'm busy. While in the latter, the hi can be perceived as sorry, do I know you? Though the word is the same, the meaning of the word may differ because of the accompanied vocal expression or body language by the speaker. Thus, our task as we discuss this today is to learn how to use the techniques of nonverbal communication to clarify and enhance our messages to avoid miscommunication. So our nonverbal communication is divided into two. We have the vocal expression and the movement. Let us discuss the vocal expression first. We communicate with our audience partly by means of vocal expression. The words we pronounce are intended to be heard by our listeners and to have meaning to them. A number of aspects of vocal expression are important to our advocates. So the first under the vocal expression is the rate. The rate at which we talk is important. We must speak slowly enough for the audience to follow us, but not so slowly enough that the audience will lose interest in our words. Advocates sometimes try to pack too much evidence and reasoning into their speeches, the reason why they are forced to deliver their speech so fast. The solution is often found in careful speech composition. Instead of using 3 pieces of evidences and delivering them fast for easy comprehension, it is better to use one well-chosen piece of advice, integrating it carefully into the case. Our mind is easily capable of absorbing far more than 300 words a minute, provided that the listener is willing to concentrate and the delivery is intelligible. However, be reminded that the general public doesn't have that much attention to pay. Next is the pitch. Pitch refers to the tone level of the voice. A pitch appropriate to the advocate's age and gender is an important consideration. In general, a lower pitch provides for more compelling presentation. Speakers should occasionally raise their pitch to provide emphasis, but they should resist the tendency to speak in a continuously high-pitched voice as they increase their energy and excitement during a debate. The third is intensity. It refers to the loudness or softness of the speaker's voice. At a minimum, our voice must be loud enough to be heard easily by everyone we want to reach. In some circumstances, the use of public address system may be necessary. In such cases, we should address the microphone with normal conversational intensity and allow the electronic system to provide amplification rather than shout into the microphone. At the same time, we should guard against too much intensity. Debaters sometimes make the mistake of addressing a small audience in a classroom with an intensity that would be appropriate for a large gathering in an auditorium. So remember, your intensity as a speaker should vary in the number of your audience and the circumstances. Next is flexibility. We should be able to adapt our voice as well as our arguments to the situation. One type of delivery may be appropriate at a football rally while another may be appropriate at a small committee meeting. We may use variation of rate, intensity, and pitch to make our delivery more effective, and that is flexibility. Next, we have the quality. The quality of our voice is important. We want people to find our voice easy and pleasant to listen to. We should try to cultivate well-modulated, resonant tones. Under certain conditions, we will deliberately use unpleasant voice qualities to convey special meaning to our audience. Next on the list is fluency. We should cultivate verbal fluency because beginning speakers are sometimes at a loss of 4 words. They may vocalize pauses while they grow for the next word. A good knowledge of the subject, a well-developed case outline, a well-composed speech plan, and rehearsal of the speech will help the advocate overcome these problems and acquire the necessary verbal fluency. Practice in impromptu speaking also aids in the development of verbal fluency. The last under vocal expression is the expressional patterns. Our concerns with delivery is not limited to the production of clear, pleasant, readily intelligible speech. On many occasions, we will use nuances of delivery to convey meaning. Skillful advocates use rate, pitch, intensity, quality, and inflection to create an expressional pattern, giving special meaning and emphasis to certain words and phrases in their speeches. Now, after the vocal expression, under nonverbal communication, let us proceed to the movement. Raybeard Diesel believes that we do most of our talking with our body movements. He explains that we pour out informations with our thumbs, our hand and body movements, our eyes, and our facial expressions, and that these signals often convey more reliable messages than the words we utter. First under the movement is the eye contact. We should maintain eye contact with members of the audience throughout our speech. Next is the movement. When speaking, our movement should be purposeful. It should aid us in communicating with our audience. The third is the gesture. The gesture should be purposeful, aiding our communication with the audience. Like the movement, the gesture should be easy, economical, and purposeful, yet apparently spontaneous. The last under the movement is the facial expression. Our facial expression should be consistent with the attitude we are trying to express. We are now on the special considerations in tournament debate delivery. Delivery is an important factor in the art of persuasion and conviction, so consider to vary the rate. Avoid distracting mannerisms. Repetitive gestures, tapping of feet or pens, gasping for breath, all diminish the potential impact of the debater's presentation. Speech delivery and composition involve many considerations. As in many other contexts, the great art is to conceal the art. As advocates, our purpose is to win a decision. We use the art of speech communication to help attain this objective. Remember to be confident and controlled during cross-examination periods. Do not busy yourself with preparation for the next speech or arrangement of materials at your desk. Look the judge into the eyes as much as possible and demonstrate confidence and mastery of the situation and the material. Also, don't forget to shake hands at the end of the debate. Also remember to behave with courtesy and professionalism. Perceptions begin to form before the debate begins, when the judge first sees the debaters. Their behavior during their opponent's speeches, their partner's speeches, and the cross-examination, as well as after the debate, can have a powerful subliminal effects on the judge's evaluation.